the early days of me talking about genius was kind of like, I could have used loads of words. I could have used flow, in your zone, in your happy pace, you know, where you're at your best, blah, blah. I chose genius. And I think when we think of genius, what do we think of? Like, you know, what's our default about genius? Not your transformed view, enlightened view. I'm talking about when we think genius, what do we think? Einstein.
Yeah, super clever.
Like really unattainable, very, you know, very rarefied thing. And I took on this idea that actually, what about if every one of us had genius inside us? It just might not look like Einstein or Pablo Picasso or whoever, right? So if we're operating at that level of genius, well, if I relate to you as one, and you relate to me as one, we're looking for something called genius, and what's amazing about each other is a very different posture to just assessing people for what their skills are. Okay? So I want to share with you what we've learnt about genius. So it is a sum up of probably things you've heard me say over the years, but it's kind of where the conversation is for me now. In the world of fear, scarcity, competition, that I think where I was before I met Jill was I felt lonely. I felt atomized. I felt vulnerable. I felt like I could be pushed around because I'm trying to make things happen, but on my own. And I think we've been conditioned to go solo. We've been conditioned to break from the strength of the crowd and just look out for yourself. You know, and I think there's clear mechanisms that instill that in us. And I think education is probably one of the biggest culprits for me, where it starts. You know, was it give me a child till the age of 7, I'll give you the man. That's where all the conditioning happens. Now, I was sharing with Dave earlier, when I was growing up, I was a rebel. I didn't listen to anybody. I said, no, up yours. I'm going to do what I want. Now, that meant I spent a lot of time outside the classroom. And I'm actually really pleased about that. And one of the things I have with my daughters at the moment is, why are you not getting into more dissensions? And they go, Daddy! I know, I'm only joking. Well, I'm not joking. But there's something about bucking authority, leaning on your own innate wisdom. And for me, I think education is one of those things that starts the journey of the fear, scarcity, competition. Probably starts at home earlier on, but you know, formally. I think the other thing that really starts to embed it is money. Our money system is not pulling for us all to be awesome. In fact, one of the things that really impressed me about Nick from the early days was his idea of a collaborative currency. You know, I think that was one of the first things he said about BeCollaboration. We can have our own currency, something I'm still passionate about. You know, a debt-free money. You know, we have money that's linked to interest rates, debt. So we have a system where money is created by private businesses, loaned at interest, created out of nothing, which leads to the infinite debt growth paradigm. Write that down, look it up. I can't get into it in too much detail. Point is, we have to keep consuming and buying stuff to survive on this planet. Just look at the way products are built. Look at built-in obsolescence, built-in lifetime value. Things have to break, so we buy another one. Now, to me, that's I think that's a crime against the planet and humanity. We are taking far more out of the planet than we can sustain. And that's based on our money system. And these are the kind of things we talk about in the Be Inspired program. So we have a money system that it inherently puts us in competition. You've got an education system that puts you in competition. The people in your class you're competing against them for your grades. Then you're competing with them for your job. Then you're competing with them for the promotion.
Maybe. And
I think you've all been at the effects of that one way or another. Okay. Media. What do we think of our mainstream media at the moment, boys and girls? Ladies and gentlemen? Are we impressed with it?
It's all smoke and mirrors and propaganda.
No, I'm going to leave that there, right? So do you think the media is nurturing love, connection, abundance, anything's possible, the love of humanity, or do you think something else might be going on? Okay. What about the state? And I said this at the last Liverpool meeting. I said, when you get a letter from the government, how do you feel? Do you go, oh, Her Majesty wrote to me? I don't think we do. If you get stopped by the police, if you've been stopped by the police, or you come into direct contact with authority in the state, look at how language has changed over the last 20 years specifically. parking enforcement. When I was growing up, they were traffic wardens.
Traffic wardens, yes.
What happens when you land in England and go to the passport
Control.
control? It didn't used to be that; it was customs. What about? And this is there was a guy. One of the pictures I showed you, Alistair Ross, one of our really early members. He was senior police officer. A long time ago. He left about 25 years ago now. And he said, I knew it was time to get out because it went from police service to
Police force.
yeah. So notice how language around us is not instilling a brotherhood of man, but one of control and controlled, which is part of what we're talking about in fear scarcity competition. Because if you're in fear, I can control you. If you're in fear, I can predict what you're going to do. You mentioned something about colour, yeah? How predictive colour is. There's lots of other things that are very predictive. I can't debate at the minute.
No,
hold on.
not debating.
No, but hold on. I've got to go because I just want to get this out and then I'll do questions. So I want you to kind of think of this in the context of your genius. What does that leave us with as a culture? The human culture, the experience we have as human beings. See, to me, I think this place is a rarefied space in this planet. I think it's a really highly rarefied space. I think on the transactional level, you could get more business somewhere else, probably, maybe. But at the level of being and the level of context, this is a rarefied space. So the value here is far greater than I think is actually being perceived at the moment. Even people just sharing their life story, I think it's amazing. Not content-wise. The content isn't so amazing. Contextually, that know and be known for me moved me. Because that was the sharing of a life. What would Jane tell us about her life? Gary, would we even put you up at the front of the room without... Do you see what I'm saying? So we get caught in content, we don't look at context. This is a contextual conversation. And then finally, atomized. And one of the things, there's a 68-page study that Nick Moore has promised me, Nick, I'll put it on film now, that the government's done a study on human loneliness. Because of the current the way we work now on laptops and at home, we don't get together and we don't be with people. You know, we don't get that chance to really, you know, like in France is famous for it. That's why they got all the yellow vest demonstrations, right? Because they actually go out and sit in cafes, smoke, talk, and disagree about the way their countries run. We don't do that here, to that extent. You'll never get a yellow vest kind of demonstration in England, probably not. And that's in our culture, it's embedded in that atomization. So what does that do for us? Now, for me, this is what I'm presenting, is I think that puts us in a state of survival. Where's the next buck? When am I getting the client? How am I going to blah, blah? That is not the state of genius. See, the state of genius is in abundance and anything's possible. And I see your light, you see my light, hey, let's go create, right? In fear, in survival, our intellect drops. Your intellect drops because you go into fight or flight. You go into survival and it becomes automated. I'm sure Sanjay can tell you a lot more about that as well, around emotion. We have a frontal, what's it called? Yeah, very, very powerful. But what's getting stimulated in the fear scarcity competition is the back end that puts you in survival, your reptilian, your reactiveness, your ability to get cut up in traffic and start shouting at someone. Who's done that in the last 24 hours? Okay. So what have I noticed? What I've noticed is this. You've got individuals that are dispersed, atomized, disconnected, spread. Now I'm not looking at this as just individuals, I'm looking at this, look at all that talent. We've dissected the talent and divided and conquered it and spread it everywhere through the internet, through our culture, through the state, through all those things. We don't relate to us as genius. We don't relate to us as something that we're really proud about and passionate about, because we are institutionally, systemically separated. And it started a long time ago. Do you see the word diluted? So my cunning plan is, what about if we got people together and got them to see their own genius and shared their genius? Could we make a difference to the planet? Could we make a difference to our income, to our personal self-worth, confidence, our projects, our opportunities? But you see, look, hate and fear looks like that. So this is Masaru Emoto, Japanese researcher, scientist who does work on water. We are 70% water. And the vibrations around us are one of fear, scarcity, competition, and that's driving us into the ground. That's why we can't solve those problems. Can't answer the, was it unanswerable? No, it wasn't. It was
Impossible.
the impossible question, because we're in fear. We're vibrating at the level of fear. That's not at the level of genius, at the level of wonder, the level of integrity. By the way, one of the highest levels of integrity is being true to yourself. Being true to yourself. So let's talk about genius for a second, right? What happens in genius? Well, I think it's a whole different place. It's a whole different vibration. See, in genius, we can live in love, connection, abundance. I don't have to apologise for who I am when I'm in my genius. Now, you may love it, you may hate it, you may be indifferent. I very much doubt you'd be indifferent. But you may have a view about it. But in my genius, boy, I can move mountains. And I don't have to apologise for that. That's what I set out to achieve. Haven't achieved as far as I want to, but that's the road. So in that genius, we can transform the human experience. So my personal context is a courageous leader transforming the human experience. Sorry, courageous, compassionate leader transforming the human experience. That is who's talking to you now. Not Erkan Ali, the bloke that you think you like or don't like or indifferent to. But the context I've created for myself is who you're interacting with. In fact, probably, bar very few of you for very small amounts of time would have any sense of who I am as a person, as an individual. Because that's not the context I bring to the table. Now, I don't know what you think about the other Erkan, but he can get moody, he's stroppy, he's curt, he's a bit of an arsehole sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, right, cheers.
It's on video.
It's on video, we all know.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gary. No, let me carry on because I just want to, I've got about 5 more minutes and I'll do that. Hold on to the question, right? So in context, in love, connection, abundance, in BeCollaboration, our approach is starting to pull those little threes together. See, we say humanity is best collaboration and creating something of value that makes a difference to everyone involved that otherwise would not exist is the basic building blocks is 3. Gary, make sure you speak to Gina and get one more involved. It exponentially grows what's possible. Do you know what I mean? One-on-one is great, start there. But where I think collaboration has become really interesting is that third person creates a whole new dimension. 2D, 3D, different world. So with these power blocks of 3, we build values, alignments. So the reason we do the culture piece is to get those alignments. Like you said, Gary, we don't know what we all think about integrity. No, we do. But do we align? Do we have alignment about it? That's what we're building. So if we have alignment in values and culture, then do you think we're going to be, I don't know, do you think collaborations are more likely to happen inside of that? I think so. So what we found is actually you start building a few more people and a few more people, you start to attract and share knowledge and build relationships. And guess what? You've got the fledgling starts of a community. Starting to build that community in genius, in the building blocks of humanity at its best. Me on a good day, you on a good day. Ben on a good day. Wow. David on a good day. And then, well, the community starts to form. Now, I believe that there's no such thing as groups. There's no such thing as countries, there's no such thing as businesses, there's no such thing as societies. Hear me out. They're constructs, they're made up. What we are is a collection of individuals. So for me, love, connection, abundance celebrates the individual as part of a bigger group. Self-selection. Not ideology, dogma, beliefs, but actually alignment of values and culture and intention. If we create that collaborative currency, man, what could happen? I don't know. Could change the world forever. Now what happens is when you start to become a new person in a community, Jane, right? There you are, you're that little red dot. But have you noticed what's happened to the yellows? Look what happens to the yellows. So through opportunity to connect, learn, grow and nurture, doing this is a practice. So this is like going to the gym and just working out or doing your punches or going into the dojo and doing your moves. This isn't the fighting, this is the practicing. So the big value of being part of the community is practicing. Getting in front of the room, recreating yourself, engaging, having those conversations that make a difference, that evolve you. That happens when the bonds start to happen. When the bonds start to happen is where I think we really start to see who we are. And we have an innate respect and admiration of each other's journey. See, on one level, you could look at Nick's journey and go, what, he couldn't go and talk to people after a meeting? Well, but on another level, you go, what a courageous thing to say, I'm not ready to be in the bar with these guys right now. To be in a place where you could say that and go out with dignity and come back and work at your pace. And look at him now. That's the generosity we give each other here. No judgment. I said to Jill, where did he go? He went, oh, he didn't feel, oh, great. Is he okay? Yeah, he's fine, great. That's what we're nurturing, a sense of connection. So you become part of something, but not lost in it. Your identity is as an individual is as important, but not at the level of separation. Do you understand what I'm saying? At the level of connection and transformation, we start seeing the transformation in each other, and we start to see the uniqueness of each other. You're not being assimilated into the Borg. You're coming in as an individual that's going to impact the community. Just sitting listening makes a difference. Even if you sat in a BeColl meeting and never said anything throughout the whole meeting, you are providing something, you're providing your listening, which is active, not passive. So you're making a difference even by just being here. So, in the vibration of love, connection, abundance, look how beautiful it looks compared to the hate and the fear. And you are being bombarded with signals, imagery, words, through TV, through media, continually, that are robbing you of your genius. Like gravity is affecting me right now, holding me down, so is the macro, at the level of fear, scarcity, competition. So what I'm inviting you to do is to step into your genius energy. It has a feel, it has a flavour, doesn't it? It has like a buzz about it. It has a sense of, well, for me, anything is possible. Inside our genius, inside our connection, inside our own individual value, we can create all sorts of amazing outcomes. And I think if you're in this community and playing any less than that, you're missing out on a whole load. Not like a good or bad. Like there's a lot more that you could mine out of this community than you're getting at the moment. And my commitment was today was that you got that there's a whole load of level of value, opportunity, progress, connection that we can reach for together. But in fear, scarcity and competition, no, you want some results, I want some money, connect me up, did I get a deal? That's survival. So anyway, I want to thank you, and there's a picture of me at a wedding. Because Jill last month did she had pictures of her at a wedding, so I thought I'd show pictures of her wedding. No, let it run. So that's my talk. Thank you very much.
5 minutes.
We've got 5 minutes, and then we've got to pack down really quickly. Gary, please. I've only been bursting to ask.
Every time you say something, I've got a question or understanding.
I may not be able to answer them all right now because we're going to. But go.
So I just want to go through a few things you said. So you're saying about, or my understanding of it may be wrong or right, but we're a spiritual being living in a physical body. So we're all spiritual, but we're in this unfortunate this skin of a physical body, and that's what's holding us back. And if we get into that higher power, a higher spirituality, then we can actually let go. So that was the other thing. The second thing that resonated with me, you were saying about feminine and masculine, but it is the actual the triangular of the feminine, the masculine, and the connection in the middle that brings it all together. So it's a connection of the three, which is what you were saying.
No, I never mentioned feminine and masculine.
Okay, all right. That's what
I didn't mention it.
Okay.
What I meant was, what I think you heard was me say, if there's two of us and we're working on something, a third brings a third dimension.
Okay.
Like it makes it 3D.
Third dimension, but in a lot of the spiritual realms, you have the energy of masculine and feminine, and it brings as in love, creation. That's what makes the feminine masculine, and then you create the creation. So bringing the energies together is powerful.
Yeah, but I didn't say it like that at all. But if that's what you're hearing, great. I'm with you. Yeah.
I'm hearing things that you say.
Yeah.
I'm hearing it in another way. And the other thing was the problem with the fear that we've got is that we have been controlled by, whether it's the churches, the state. We are held in this resonance of fear because it suits the state to keep us in the low vibration of the hate and the fear. You're showing those energies because that actually helps them control.
But it also, by the way, it's a very powerful part of marketing is to create those low vibrations. So we go and buy stuff we don't need to impress people we don't care about. You've all heard that line before. But yeah, so it's a big part of a consumer society. You're going to end up lonely, old, on your own, and right. And broke probably.
The other thing, the last thing I was going to say is that we're seeing those connections or those separated cells.
The bonds.
The bond. Unfortunately or fortunately, people seem to bond together when there's problems happening. So unfortunately, I think we have to go through a nemesis or a disaster for us to bond closer. And I think that's what will happen in this.
Well, you see it in wartime, don't you?
What I'm going to say, we need a war. Unfortunately,
We need
a bit of a war to get to
Well, there's some
to take out the narcissistic or the anger and the fear of society.
So if there's a war, if you want a war to get behind right now, I'd say look into 5G and look into the cancer treatment GC-MAF that's been eradicated from our lives at the moment. A clear and effective treatment around cancer. These are two things that I'm very passionate about, 5G especially, and which is going to be a huge carcinage on our planet. And most people don't even know that it exists.
Well, this is the whole highway, the phone people.
Yeah. So that's what we call a major existential threat to us. Now, if we're all divided, conquered, and plugged into the entertainment industrial complex, in front of Netflix and Prime and blah blah blah, just consuming one after the other box set, then that's not our genius. That's us. So the word entertainment is to keep you there, occupied. And when you came to that first Essex meeting, I did a quote of Maxwell Jordan about why we have all these entertainments, almost free, that keep us, in front of that TV screen, and. While we're doing that, there's a whole load of things going on. And I'm saying that's part of hoodwinking us out of our genius. Because if you're asking the questions of why we're divided and conquered and why we're in fear, scarcity, competition, why is there never enough? Well, it's a created construct. And it goes directly opposes your genius. Because it puts you in fear. And fear is the most powerful, apart from physical thing, it's one of the most powerful ways of succumbing to, in fact, selling out on your own genius. So for me, this community is about all of that. And if that isn't enough, I don't know what else to say. Standing in your genius with other people who are taking that journey to find ways of making that impact, whether it's health or schools or your personal, whatever, food, independently being viable financially. That's what this is all about for me. That's the game I'm playing.